वेलकम टू सीजन 2 ऑफ Bakson Unplugged, जहाँ एक के बाद एक हम ऐसे गेस्ट लेकर आ रहे हैं जो कहीं ना कहीं बहुत ही पॉपुलर हैं पूरे इंडिया में एंड नोन फॉर देयर होम्योपैथी कंट्रीब्यूशन. One such figure that we all know of, all talk about, is Dr. Raj K. Manchanda. I have grown up seeing him, so I know the kind of value he has added for 37 years of homeopathy service in the country. He has not just been in the CCRAS, he has also made sure more than 120 research papers have been published.
More than 200.
Okay, I have to be corrected. I think the best part here is, sir, आप बताओ पूरी अपनी introduction, because आपके पास इतने designations हैं, मैंने आपको इतना contribution करते हुए देखा है homeopathy industry में, ऐसा कोई बच्चा नहीं है जो आज आपको जानता नहीं है. And आप हमें बताओ more about you because we want to learn from you.
So, if you want to know about my journey,
Yes.
so I would just like to tell you that when I passed out from secondary education from a very humble government school in Ashok Vihar, I have two possibilities. One was to go on medical side like any student, or to go to the engineering side. I got opportunity first in Hansraj College to do physics honors, took admission. Then I got opportunity to take admission in Delhi College of Engineering at Kashmiri Gate to do mechanical engineering. Then lately somewhere I got opportunity to study at Nehru Homeopathic Medical College. So that was only one college in Delhi. So my family background was such that they wanted that at least their one child should be in homeopathy. So this is how, after persuasion by father, instead of going to engineer, so he said, engineers to bahut log bante rehte hain. You join homeopathy. So I joined homeopathy. Then I studied at Nehru Homeopathic Medical College for about 4 years. At that point of time, it was diploma level course, then upgraded my qualification to degree, then post-graduation from different universities. Fortunately, I got opportunity to work with very senior people in homeopathy. They gave me practical insight into homeopathy. Very early in my student days, I got opportunity to work under late Dr. D.P. Rastogi. He was principal of Nehru Homeopathic Medical College. And there was another one person, though there were many, but one such person was Dr. Ramji Gupta. He was postgraduate from All India Institute of Medical Sciences and was dermatologist. So he joined our institution and started teaching dermatology to our students at undergraduate level. So I got influenced by his thought process. He, at that point of time, somewhere instilled in me the critical thinking in homeopathy, which I find in most of the students missing now. That our education system needs to be more pragmatic and empower students with critical thinking while learning about different aspects of homeopathy. So I got opportunity to work with him. He talked about this. He gave the modernized version of dermatology, taught not only me, to all in the institution, and we could get initially good publication in British Homeopathic Journal at that point of time, which was there were hardly any publication from India during those days. So this is how my journey in research started. Then I got opportunity to work practically at Nehru Homeopathic Medical College, first as junior resident, then as senior resident for 3 years. That was actually the real transformating phase for me. That when I got opportunity to, on one hand, treat very, very chronic cases, on the other hand, to handle emergencies in ward that we often see. We could start even labor room at Nehru Homeopathic Medical College, where I got opportunity to undertake even conduct even more than 100 deliveries also myself as part of the team. So that kind of experience was very rewarding. I also could get to understand that what are the limitations of homeopathy. Now, another area where I could focus at that during those days was Dr. Sahgal. He used to teach mental symptoms, how to prescribe on mental symptoms. So I was influenced by his teaching, so I could learn all the concepts related to Dr. Sahgal's way of thinking on mental symptoms and how to prescribe on patient. Got opportunity in hospital to prescribe and see the efficacy and effectiveness in real-time practice of those. After completing my senior residency for 3 years, I was absorbed in a research organization that was the one branch of CCRAS, that was Regional Research Institute, and was located at Nehru Homeopathic Medical College. So there I worked for about, I think, 6 years as assistant research officer and contributed in drug proving. So I was myself prover, then proving master, later on as part of the game, committee member. So I all understand the implications, the intricacies of homeopathic drug proving, what are the issues related to that, what are its positive side, what are its downsides. So this is how I have experience to learn from during that time. I also could contribute that point in clinical research of psoriasis, allergic dermatosis. So these were two main projects which I was doing apart from clinical validation of drugs which are used in drugs of Hindustan. So we converted those drugs of Hindustan into homeopathy. So that was the work assigned to us and it was good. That was the time I also could get time to visit to this Noida and Greater Noida area, their villages on a van, just understanding what rural India thinks about homeopathy and how they embrace homeopathy. So that was also a great experience, coming in a van, visiting as a, you can say, peripheral OPD nowadays, or you can say a mobile van. So we have a good van. And that actually also made some focus point for the now Central Research Institute of Homeopathy we have in Sector 23 of Noida. So that was to popularize upcoming institute. So then later on, after 10 years, that after completing 6 years as in my tenure as Assistant Research Officer, I got opportunity through Union Public Service Commission to join as Assistant Director of Government of Delhi.
So that's very big.
So it's okay. That just came on the way. So I got opportunity to then develop and understand the administrative insight of homeopathy. That how medical colleges are being run, how peripheral dispensaries and clinics of homeopathy clinics are run. At that point of time, we were having only 28 clinics, that too was being run in the evening hours of Delhi. Then I worked there for about, I think about 15 years before I joined as Director General Central Council for Research in Homeopathy. And during that time, I got opportunity to look after this Delhi Homeopathic Board, then Nehru Homeopathic Medical College and all the dispensaries. We could increase seats in Nehru Homeopathic Medical College. We could take over Dr. B.R. Soor Homeopathic Medical College. And we could also enhance the number of clinics from 28 to more than 100 during that period. And all the HR issues, human resource issues related to doctors. Because when I joined in 1991, majority of the homeopathic doctors were in Group C or Group B positions. So they all are now senior, very, very senior and super senior gazetted Group A positions. So we could develop that kind of rules regulation in Delhi government. So that issues were sorted out. So now as a result, we get best talent with Delhi government from all over India. So now recently Union Public Service Commission has advertised about, I think, 60 post of assistant professor in both the colleges of Delhi government, and we are having best of the best available for recruitment. So this is how I could contribute as regard Delhi government is concerned.
And sir, what has been your biggest learning in your span in the homeopathy service? What has been your biggest learning so far in your experience?
What I feel that wherever I got opportunity, I learnt a lot. My more learning altogether in research was during the tenure of 7 years as Director General of Central Council for Research in Homeopathy. So that was a very unique experience I got. All along I was having that critical thinking in my mind. All along I was trying to publish different kinds of research papers, but with a limited knowledge of research. Some I got during my tenure as Assistant Research Officer, but rest of the things now I got as Director General. So there I came to know what are the international requirements of homeopathy. What kind of challenges homeopathy is facing at national level, at international level.
So
and
where
how
is
to
homeopathy on an international level? आप हमें बताइए, currently we're in 2024. आज homeopathy international level पर कहाँ है?
WHO की एक रिपोर्ट है जो मई 2019 में रिलीज हुई थी. उस रिपोर्ट के हिसाब से होम्योपैथी टॉप 4 ट्रेडिशनल सिस्टम्स में से एक है, जिसके अंदर सबसे नंबर 1 पे तो इंडिजिनस सिस्टम जो डिफरेंट वर्ड्स के हैं, एक्यूपंक्चर. सो दिस इज एट पार विद you can say top 5-6 systems in the world. And these 100 countries are located in almost all continents of the world. Whether you look at European regions of WHO or you look at the Asian region. And but the most important regions are, one is the European region that includes entire Europe and Russia. Then the next is American region that includes Northern America and Latin American countries. And then comes, of course, Asia, where India is leading. But even in Southeast Asia region, we have with us Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka. So they all have homeopathy. So currently homeopathy is very well positioned as regard different kinds of traditional medicines are concerned.
सर, एंड इंटरनेशनली अगर ये यूरोप में भी है आज होम्योपैथी, और आप बोल रहे हैं इंडिया में, एशिया में भी है प्रोमिनेंट, सर अगर ये हर जगह होम्योपैथी आज है, एंड आप कह रहे हो WHO ने भी ये रिकॉग्नाइज किया है.
रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं, बताया है.
है.
रिकॉग्नाइज इज डिफरेंट. WHO doesn't recognize any traditional system, or WHO doesn't de-recognize also.
Okay.
It is not job of WHO. WHO has a division.
Okay.
That division is known as traditional, complementary and integrative medicine. That looks after the development of all the traditional systems of medicine, including homeopathy. Now you go ahead.
And sir, thank you for telling me that. Sir, आप क्या बोलेंगे उन लोगों को जो बोलते हैं आज भी कि होम्योपैथी प्लेसिबो है? आपने इतना टाइम रिसर्च में बताया, आपके अंडर कितनी रिसर्चेज हुई होंगी, उनको आप क्या बोलेंगे जो आज भी लोग कमेंट करते हैं कि शायद ये प्लेसिबो है?
नहीं, ये लोग नहीं है. आप कॉमन सेंस से भी सोचिए ना कि अगर हम किसी भी दवाई को एक लेवल से ज़्यादा डाइल्यूट कर देते हैं तो देयर इज ऑलवेज ए पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ प्लेसिबो इफेक्ट. तो जो लोग होम्योपैथी को एज प्लेसिबो वाली जो बात करते हैं, वो लोग ये कॉम्प्रीहेंड नहीं कर पाते कि जब एक मेडिसिन को डाइल्यूट आपने बियॉन्ड एवोगैड्रो नंबर कर लिया तो उसके अंदर जब दवा है ही नहीं तो ये प्लेसिबो इफेक्ट ही होगा ना. वो सिर्फ इस बात से कहते हैं, पर सच्चाई इसके आगे है कि दुनिया में इस वक्त अगर आप PubMed भी सर्च करो तो मोर देन 7,000 रिसर्च पेपर्स इन होम्योपैथी. If you just turn around homeopathy, type homeopathy, so you will find about 6,835 hits. So out of that, if you go further, you will find several trials, several observations. relating to homeopathy, several studies. This is about the PubMed indexed. But there are non-indexed journals are many, which are not PubMed. If you go to Google Scholar, you will find much more hits than this. So there is sufficient number of research. And if I have to make my point, I would just like to say the latest one is the meta-analysis. Hamre and et al. Have from Europe published recently a meta-analysis that talks about mainly what they have done. It is a systematic review of all the existing meta-analysis. They could identify 6 meta-analysis, and out of that they have clearly shown that homeopathy is beyond placebo. No, it is for the people, those who want to believe, to accept this publication. If you don't want to believe, you can criticize even this publication. But what is important is, ever since homeopathy was discovered, there was always a movement to criticize this. So that process is still continuing. But on the other hand, I would also like to say that somewhere homeopathic community is also responsible. Like homeopathy is not all high dilutions. In homeopathy, low dilutions are also being used, which nobody will say that these are placebo. Homeopathy in mother tinctures are also being used in practice. So it can't be placebo because you can detect medicine. No, if I have to go a little more, even in those so-called high dilutions, IIT Mumbai have clearly shown that both in metal side and in non-metallic side, these are nothing but a sort of nanomedicine.
Nanomedicine.
Which can be, you can say, nanostructures are there, which are encapsulated by silica coating, and they are probably the reason for the effect of high dilutions. Similar researches are being done by several. After IIT Mumbai, it was done by IIT Delhi. It was being done by different researchers. Recently, it is being done in Belgium by a group, and they all have been able to find different kinds of nanostructures. So now the debate is going on whether the biological effect of homeopathy are due to these nanoparticles. Then IIT Mumbai, through another paper where they have shown that the real cause is hormesis. Hormesis means that when you dilute any medicinal substance beyond certain point, it starts stimulating biological systems. But if you increase the dose, it becomes toxic. In lower doses, it becomes stimulating to the biological system. This is how it works. So through their research paper, they have shown that. So there are 2 types of homeopathy: high dilution homeopathy and low dose homeopathy. So low dose homeopathy is, nobody will say that it is placebo. But high dilution, there can always be a possibility of some placebo effect while assessing patients. So there is always be. So that our researchers have to segregate, and this is how in homeopathy, when we do randomized control trials, especially with high dilutions, that is why we get a very small effect, and we need to have concept of personalized medicine, the concept of individualization. All these things we need to properly incorporate in our research design to assess effect of homeopathy through randomized control trial.
So you said different ways of prescribing in homeopathy. Of course, as you said, from mother tinctures to low dilutions to higher dilutions. In our country today, doctors prescribe in all forms: therapeutic, miasmatic, based on just mental symptoms, based on just the look of the tongue, based on just how the patient walks in. We've seen all kinds of practice, right? अब आप हमें बताइए क्या सही है क्या गलत, बिकॉज हमारे लिए मैंने जो समझा एज ए यंग होम्योपैथिस्ट, in the country there are doctors practicing in all ways possible, and some are researched, hence they are considered right. Some are not researched yet, hence they are considered wrong. What is your take on this?
I'll tell you, Taniyaa, I did one study survey and observed also. and I did this work, I think, about 20 years back. In one of the Homeopathic Medical Association of India, there was a session. The session was on complex homeopathy and on patents. At that point of time, I was deputy director, so I was invited, like you have to give a keynote address in this session. So before that, I did survey that what is going on. So I came to know that different homeopathy is being practiced within India in different ways. But today, after assessing the global situation, now I know homeopathy is being practiced even at global level in different ways. The reason is what kind of education you have got and how you have adopted this system in your own clinical setting. I will not say this is better, that is worse, but research is required in all these systems. There are problems when you go for individualization. There are problems when you go for combinations, especially if they are not properly made and they are not properly researched. They are just pushed out of clinical experience. So what I have seen, I would just divide homeopath. There are group of homeopath. They will be classical homeopath and they will be using single medicine in their practice, and they will give relatively few doses. And sometimes I have seen they give very unreasonably few doses to those people. And at times it becomes very difficult to see the effect of patient is because of the medicine or it is a natural recovery. So we have to have that kind of very close observations. So these classical people I have seen, and in my own practice and still when I follow the Dr. Sehgal way of prescribing and assessing the mental state, emotional state of the patient, then looking into what kind of patient diagnosis there. So single doses do wonders. Many of the chronic cases, I published one patient case of Rhetus disease, which is a very, very intricate disease. Way back in, I think in 2005, I published one paper in homeopathy after following up a patient of, you can say, chronic psoriasis with arthritis, urethritis, conjunctivitis. That patient was referred to us at Nehru Homeopathic Medical College during 1987-88, and he was being treated at Nehru All India Institute of Medical Sciences, was not better. That point, he was referred to Nehru Homeopathic Medical College, or he came himself, I don't remember, and we treated him for about 5 to 6 months. He became 100% all right, with no sign of any lesions. And what we used few doses of Nux vomica and lycopodium during that process.
And this you did with Sehgal method?
You can say so. And then we published in homeopathy. But at the same time, I have seen people, those who are using multiple systems like Banerjee protocols. I came across that, and I've seen that Boiron has also published one booklet with some protocols. So people are following a clinical kind of homeopathy where they make diagnosis first and then they have ready-made protocols of giving 2 medicine, 3 medicine, 4 medicine. And those protocols they have developed out of their own experience and out of their own logic and knowledge of materia medica. Even I have seen in clinical practice also, many people attract a lot of rush in their clinics, and their way is to give 2 or 3, which according to their own experience they have developed.
Har clinic alag hai.
So they are classical also, they are not so classical also, I often say, because they use the information given in our materia medica.
सर, एक नया बच्चा जब होम्योपैथी ज्वाइन करेगा और उसको रिसर्च में जाना है, तो वो कैसे रिसर्च में जा सकता है? मतलब CCRAS को कैसे, how can a young child who wants to do research in homeopathy do something good for homeopathy? What is the way ahead?
Look, the same thing was in my mind. So when I joined Director General, during my Director Generalship, what we did, we created a scheme that is known as STSH scheme, Studentship training. So what was the idea? Catch student young. It is not possible for everyone to do research, and everyone may not have that much interest also in research. But we need to catch these students very young. So we created a scheme where students will be given some scholarship for doing some meaningful research in homeopathy. So these people these people are given training in their respective colleges, and they can submit those projects, later on submit the outcome of those researches to the council, and council can identify good researches, and as part of encouragement can give them some scholarship of few thousand rupees. So this is the first step, that you try to get into the research mindset during student days. Then comes, we have positions over there. If you are an undergraduate student, you get possibility of working as junior research fellows. If you are a senior postgraduate, you have to work, you can work as research associate. Then they have a position of research officers. But all these are very competitive exams. Always there are exams by the central agencies, and you have to pass on those exams and then get into clear. So you have to have that kind of mindset. If you have mindset, you can enter. So in research, you can enter either as research fellows or as. But another very open area is that we are having more than 250 medical colleges. Every teacher should be a researcher at the same time. So if you have a research mindset, you have a possibility of joining any research or any medical institution where teaching is going on, and you can contribute in research.
सर सूडो साइंस बहुत बोला जाता है होम्योपैथी को, आप ये स्टेटमेंट से एग्री करते हैं?
देखो, स्यूडो साइंस सिर्फ होम्योपैथी को नहीं बोला जाता, जितनी भी ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन हैं उनको किसी ना किसी फॉर्म में ये बोला जाता है. वो एक ना, आप ये कह सकते हो कि एक तरीके का जो स्केप्टिक मूवमेंट एट ग्लोबल लेवल है ना, वो इन सब चीज़ों को इस तरह के नैरेटिव इम्प्लांट करते रहते हैं ऑन डिजिटल मीडिया. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो वन सच अटेम्प्ट फॉर होम्योपैथी. पर होम्योपैथी की एग्जिस्टेंस मोर देन 250 ईयर्स है. बड़े सारे जो लोग जो होम्योपैथी को प्रैक्टिस करते रहे हैं, कर रहे हैं, वो सारे मेडिकल डॉक्टर्स हैं. कोई अनक्वालिफाइड डॉक्टर्स नहीं है. बहुत सारे, कुछ लोग शौकिया तौर पे जरूर करते हैं, पर काफ़ी लोग और आज के दिन तो पब्लिकेशंस ही बहुत हैं. अगर उन पब्लिकेशंस का एनालिसिस कर लिया जाए तो ये स्कोप रह नहीं जाता. फिर भी जो नैरेटिव चलता रहता है उसको काउंटर भी किया जाता है. अभी ब्राज़ील से एक बड़ी अच्छी पब्लिकेशन आई है. तो व्हाट दे हैव सेड अबाउट स्यूडो साइंस, दैट द पीपल दोज हु आर स्यूडो साइंटिस्ट, they are spreading these kinds of narrative because they don't want to look beyond their own knowledge. They don't want to add on more knowledge which other person telling. They are already have a fixed mindset, and they are actually a pseudo scientist. Scientists should have an open mind. Scientists should have a very understanding, and he should be flexible, taking new ideas and then experiment with those ideas. People, those who spread these kinds of narratives, actually have neither experienced homeopathy nor have experimented with this. They have just read from this, got some ideas from there, got some ideas of high delusions, and then started saying these kinds of things out of their own misunderstanding of the proper subjects. This is how I say.
Sir, I have personally witnessed your push in quality of homeopathy medicines in the entire country. I have seen every single pharmaceutical learn from you. I have heard meetings myself, I've heard from you, and I've sat down and learned so much from you. My question is, what is the current state of quality of homeopathy medicines in India, and what should consumers look for in quality medicine for homeopathy?
I'll tell you, amongst all the traditional medicines, homeopathy has a unique position in the world, where homeopathic medicines are recognized as a therapeutic agent as a medicine in Europe, in Latin American countries, in Northern America, and even in India. People, those who were making policies of homeopathy, they were conscious of this fact. This was the reason that the first, when homeopathy got recognition in India in post-independence era, the first thing what they did, they created, in 1969, they created one committee to look into the drug proving aspect of homeopathy. They, few years later, they brought changes in Drug and Cosmetic Act of homeopathy, so that all the pharmacies, those who are manufacturing homeopathy, needs to follow that. Then they brought changes in that when on allopathic side, GMP was good manufacturing practices was launched. In homeopathy also, good manufacturing practices were launched and were notified. And the industry is required to follow those norms. So as regard quality of homeopathic medicines are concerned, in Indian industry is also following all the international norms in giving that kind of thing. We have our own homeopathic pharmacopoeia of India, which now had, I think, about 11 volumes and more than 1,000 drugs, which are very commonly used drugs in homeopathic practice. So lot of effort, emphasis is there on quality management of homeopathic drugs. And now the government of India has created another vertical. This vertical is under the Bureau of Indian Standards, where they have created a Homeopathic Sectional Committee, where different homeopathic industrialists or their R&D managers are talking to the researchers, academia, and we are now formulating new kind of standards which can be acceptable even at international level, at ISO level. So lot of effort is there, and I'm happy that Indian industry is also investing in at least managing the quality of these products in the market.
No, definitely, sir. I remember all our R&D people are a very strong part of BIS at Bakson, and they very firmly put up certain stances. अगर कोई herb नहीं मिलती है बाहर, अब हमें कई herbs नहीं मिल रही हैं सर, पूरी वर्ल्ड में नहीं मिल रही है, हम सारे एक्सपोर्टर्स को देख रहे हैं, एंड वो हर्ब्स नहीं मिल रही जिसमें राइट क्वांटिटी ऑफ एक्टिव प्रिंसिपल हो. अब अगर हम ये एक्टिव प्रिंसिपल के बगैर ड्रग बनाते हैं, वो ड्रग बनाने का कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है. इट्स नॉट पासिंग अ क्वालिटी चेक. This is why at Bakson today the quality of medicines is so different. I'll share a small example with you, sir. Just small things that I've seen. एक बार क्या हुआ, मदर टिंचर किसी ने ट्राई किया, डॉक्टर ने, उसने बोला Bakson का मदर टिंचर इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग क्यों है, तो लाइक चेंज है टेस्ट में कंपेयर टू अदर ब्रांड्स. सर उससे क्या हुआ, हमने वापस क्वालिटी में भेजा कि कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है, क्वालिटी चेक करो. हमें पता लगा कि the brand that we were compared against did not even have the active principle when we did the test. Similarly, when we did our test for that particular medicine, we realized हमारी जो herb थी वो इतनी strong थी कि कहीं ना कहीं वो effect आएगा ही आएगा on your dilution or your mother tincture, right? And that is the difference we saw from a quality perspective. Sir, ये quality homeopathy standards कितने important है ये हमें सबको पता है, और कंज्यूमर्स को भी पता होना चाहिए. क्यों? मतलब लाइक कंज्यूमर्स शुड नो क्वालिटी क्या होती है. हमारी कंट्री में क्वालिटी इज अ वेरी बिग क्वेश्चन मार्क टुडे, सर.
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. कंज्यूमर आजकल ज़्यादा स्मार्ट हैं, ऐसा नहीं है. कंज्यूमर थ्रू ब्यूरो ऑफ इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड इवन कंज्यूमर्स आर आल्सो बीइंग गिवन लॉट ऑफ knowledge, like जागो ग्राहक जागो and all those campaigns and all those things are being launched. So it is there. So in the long run, every pharma company has to invest on R&D. They have to invest on quality. And once these BIS, it is just a beginning at Bureau of Indian Standard as regard homeopathy is concerned. But prior to that, through Drug and Cosmetic Act, we already have adequate provision through Pharmacopoeia Commission of Indian Medicine and Homeopathy. We have sufficient quality checks. So industry must follow that.
Definitely, sir, definitely. Sir, one more thing I want to ask you. एक common question है कि fatty liver हो जाता है. Non-alcoholic fatty liver भी होता है, alcoholic fatty liver भी होता है. Now, homeopathy medicines are made out of ENA, right? And is a type of medicinal alcohol that we personally convey to our audiences, because that's what is used in our pharmacopoeia, our ways of methods of preparing homeopathy medicine. Sir, is the ENA in homeopathy medicine safe, and how safe is it for people to consume with a liver disorder, supposedly?
देखो, पहली बात, ENA in homeopathic medicine is being used in drop doses.
Yes.
Those drop doses are not going to affect your liver anyway. The liver cirrhosis and all those serious problems, alcoholic liver disorders and all those things are developed because of many other reasons. Not so one of the reason is lifestyle, your eating habits. Main issue is your eating habits. What kind of food you take, what kind of thinking process, stress, whether you are under stress or not, how good you are doing your weight management, what kind of sleep you are having. All these things are more important for fatty liver. So if you are obese, you are likely to have fatty liver. As regard homeopathic medicines are concerned, few doses of alcohol will not have any adverse effect, because this alcohol is being used to deliver medicine. This is not alcohol per se. Maximum we will use 10 drops, 20 drops, and that too, if you are more conscious, then take in globules form. Don't take alcohol.
Or tablet form.
Tablet form. So all these options are now available. But medicines are required to be taken to settle and improve the functioning of the liver as per the constitution, as per the symptoms of the patient, as we do in homeopathy.
That is so well said,
But
sir.
fatty liver needs 70% of lifestyle management and 10 to 20% of medicinal management. If you are not doing taking care of the 70%, you can take n number of supplements, n number of medicine, n number of herbal, nothing will work. You have to take care of your weight, you have to take care of your diet. These two things are most important for fatty liver. You have to take care of about your exercise schedule, your gymming, your exercise, all these things you need to follow.
Sir, what is one advice you would give to all young homeopaths in the country? एक एडवाइस ही अगर देनी हो जो बच्चा कॉलेज ढूंढ रहा हो, राइट होम्योपैथी कॉलेज फॉर देम, क्या एडवाइस होगी?
देखो, मेरा मानना है कि उनको स्टूडेंट टाइप से ही, स्टूडेंट लाइफ से ही सबसे पहले कॉलेज कौन सा लेना है. अब वो तो अब नेशनल कमीशन ऑफ होम्योपैथी है, वो कॉलेज की रैंकिंग करेगा, सो दे कैन एडवाइज बेटर. पर आपको अगर एडमिशन मिल जाती है तो आपने करना क्या है? मेरा मानना है कि जो एक चाइल्ड एज ए उसकी जो क्यूरियोसिटी होती है, उसकी जो क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग होती है, उसको सिर्फ ओवरडोज ऑफ फिलॉसफी और ओवरडोज ऑफ ओल्ड टाइप ऑफ डेटा दैट नॉर्मली अवेलेबल इन अवर लिटरेचर को एम्पावर नहीं करने देना है. अपनी क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, अपने क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड को जिंदा रखना है जब तक कि आप पास आउट होते हो, और उसके ऊपर लगातार काम करना है. नंबर 2, अपने आप को जो लेटेस्ट इंटरनेशनली हो रहा है होम्योपैथी में, लेटेस्ट जो ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन में हो रहा है, यू हैव टू बी कीप अब्रेस्ट इन दैट वे. सारे स्टूडेंट जो हैं लीगा मेडिकल होम्योपैथी के इंटरनेशनल के मेंबर बन सकते हैं इफ़ दे वांट. ऑनलाइन मेंबरशिप इनकी वेबसाइट पे अवेलेबल होती है, सो दे कैन बिकम मेंबर, दे कैन नो व्हाट इज़ गोइंग ऑन. उनकी जो कॉन्फ्रेंसेज होती हैं उन सब के अंदर वो पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं. पर सिर्फ मतलब वो नहीं करना कि सिर्फ किताबें पढ़ के ही गुजारा करना है, रोटे लर्निंग में फोकस नहीं करनी है. एंड आई एम हैप्पी कि जो नेशनल कमीशन ऑफ होम्योपैथी है, वो नाउ दे आर कमिंग अप विद द न्यू वेज ऑफ टीचिंग. दे आर फोकसिंग मोर ऑन नाउ कॉम्पिटेंसी बेस्ड curriculum. All these things will, I think, transform even homeopathic education. This is what is desirable.
And sir, with your experience of a lot of academics, right? ऐसी एक चीज़ जो आप हर कॉलेज और कॉलेज की एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को एडवाइस करेंगे फॉर देम टू इम्प्रूव ऑन इन देयर कॉलेजेस, हर बच्चे के लिए.
देखो, आज होम्योपैथिक कॉलेज के अंदर जो एक पेशेंट आता है, एक कोई भी, हर पेशेंट का प्रॉपर रिकॉर्ड रखिए. चाहे पेशेंट ठीक हो या पेशेंट ठीक ना हो तो भी उसमें लर्निंग है, ना हो तो भी उसमें लर्निंग है. आज के दिन हमारे सारे मेडिकल कॉलेजेस के अंदर और हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस के अंदर record keeping is one of the problem. Fortunately, now with the introduction of digital medium, digital HMIS, all these things are feasible. We have to be as honest as possible in managing all this data that is available. Government of India ने वेबसाइट बनाई है, सेंट्रल काउंसिल फॉर रिसर्च इन होम्योपैथी ने वेबसाइट बनाई है कि आप अच्छे केसेस हमसे शेयर करो, क्लिफी कॉल ने वेबसाइट बनाई है, विथुल्कास कैंपस एक सॉफ्टवेयर उन्होंने बनाई है कि आप अपने केसेस इसमें डालो, देखो, ताकि ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम जो होम्योपैथी का ट्रेडिशनल डेटा है that needs to be, you can say, reformed. Now I am hopeful that with the change of, with the new upcoming technology of AI and machine learning, all these things will have lot of impact. But to use this digital media, we have to have solid real-time experiences. This is what we did during COVID in Delhi government, that we published series of 7 research papers. First, we mapped out what this pandemic talks about, what kind of symptoms are there in the pandemic. Then we mapped out what kind of homeopathic remedies can be utilized. Then through several research papers, we mapped out what kind of symptomatology indicate one particular drug. So we have crossed all those things. So this is known as now this prognostic factor research. So all these colleges must participate in these kind of real-time research data. Their analysis, all these things are absolutely necessary. This is the one single point I would like to tell. To strengthen your clinical IPDs and OPD with high quality data recording.
And sir, last but not the least, एक question हम पूछेंगे. सर, हार्ट अटैक के केसेस बड़े बढ़ रहे हैं एंड इससे हमें ये पता लगता है कि आजकल 30, 35, 40 में हार्ट अटैक बहुत कॉमन हो गया है. लोग बोलते हैं जिम जाने से हो रहा है, लोग बोलते हैं प्रोटीन खाने से होता है. सर, आपने तो ये सब देखा है and you've seen so much of health today that nobody would be better to answer this question. What do you think is the reason that today young people are getting heart attacks and are not able to recover?
देखो, there are two aspects of thing. One aspect is post-COVID and the one is the pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, we were only focusing on the lifestyle, the type of stress young people are having. Their blood pressure is high, still they are working in gym and all those things. That is why the problems were there. So focus on your high quality. You have to improve your lifestyle by having appropriate diet, appropriate exercise, stressless sleep. All these things are important. We cannot, so if you are, and most importantly, for heart attack, you have to focus your genes. You have to see what kind of family background, whether your father, your forefathers, who all were predisposed to these kinds of things. If they are predisposed to these things, you might be having silent hypertension. So get that checked periodically. Take care of all those things. So this is one aspect of the pre-COVID. But this is continuing post-COVID also. But post-COVID, there are certain reports. They are saying that COVID has indeed caused certain issues in certain sensitive individuals, wherein they have become more towards cerebrovascular accidents. That can be heart attack, that can be even neurological. So they have become little bit prone. So this is said. There are certain reports. But the only key what any patient or anybody has in their hand is focus on your healthy lifestyle. Healthy lifestyle means eating right, exercising right, sleeping right. These are the important things.
No, perfect, sir. Just to summarize it, thank you to Dr. Raj K. Manchanda, a name so popular in homeopathy. Every child looks up to him. Every single doctor, researcher has worked under him today in India. And we get so much happiness to know that now you've started working with the Liga all full-fledged. And we're so happy that you're introducing young homeopaths in the country to the international exposure of Liga, as you said. And we're so happy to see that for the future of homeopathy in our country. Thank you, sir, and we're so happy and excited and grateful for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to have chat with you.